Hey everyone, you just tuned in to the NetSuite podcast. I'm your host, Kendall Fisher, and on this episode, we're covering all things Learning Cloud Support, or LCS Company Pass, which provides subscription-based training for NetSuite users to easily and cost-effectively engage in continuous learning. NetSuite Senior Learning Experience Manager Kerman Camacho will kick things off for us, diving into all that LCS Company Pass incorporates and why it's so beneficial for our customers to continue investing in training and educational services like this. Then we'll get a real-life take from someone who actually leverages LCS, Scott Welker-Reyes, Vice President of Operations and Administration at FairMob Group, the leading designer of garden, terrace, and public space furnishings. Scott will discuss FairMob's journey with NetSuite, how the business has evolved with NetSuite from financials and inventory management to warehouse management, demand planning, SuiteCommerce, and beyond, the ways NetSuite helped FairMob navigate major growth and supply chain issues over the past several years, and how education has played a role in all of that. Stay tuned, it's all coming up next.
You're listening to the NetSuite podcast, where we discuss what's happening within NetSuite, why we're doing it, and where we're heading in the future. We'll dive into the details about the software and the people at NetSuite who are behind all the moving parts. We'll also feature customer growth stories, discussing the ups and downs of running a company and how one integrated system can help your business continue to scale.
First up, I'd like to welcome NetSuite Senior Learning Experience Manager, Kerman Camacho. Hi, Kerman. Welcome to the NetSuite podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Kendall. Thank you for having me.
Super exciting. We got to do a sort of live broadcast version of this a few weeks ago. For all of you who are tuning in right now, I will go ahead and drop a link to that broadcast in the description of this episode. But for now, Kerman, we're diving into all things Learning Cloud Support, or LCS Company Pass. So I say we start at the beginning here. First, what is the Learning Cloud Support Company Pass?
The Learning Cloud Support Company Pass is what all of the buzz is about, Kendall. It's our LCS Support Pass, or LCS Company Pass. It provides subscription-based training and education to all of our customers in a really easy to consume and cost-effective way. So, let's face it, we all learn differently. That's just a fact. And our course is designed to meet all the different learning styles, from on-demand e-learning courses that include hands-on lab exercises to live interactive events with an actual instructor. We actually engage with the customers during their initial implementation, and then we help support a successful go live. So we stay with them, we kind of hold their hand. We know that our customers' businesses are ever changing. And so with the LCS Company Pass, we stay with them throughout that journey, helping them to boost productivity, empower their users, and actually maximize their use of NetSuite. And most of them come with the education advising sessions, which we'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's like my favorite asset that comes with this. So thank you. Great question. That is what the buzz is about.
I love that. And I'm excited to dive into some of that. But, hearing that, we help with implementation, then we take it even further with LCS Company Pass. So I'm curious, is this really made for all types of customers and NetSuite users, or what types of customers and NetSuite users should really be taking advantage of this?
I love that you asked that. And the reason is because it truly is designed for all of our customers. There's really something for everyone. We've built e-learning and live events for different levels of expertise. So if you're a foundational user just coming into NetSuite, or you're an old timer looking to learn more advanced topics, you want to sharpen your scripting skills or developing skills, we have the courses to leverage for all skill sets. And we've even designed content for some of the most important roles, such as your NetSuite administrator. We have a learning path. The developer, we have a learning path. If you want to be an ERP consultant, we have a learning path. And we also have those education advisors who can help tailor and customize learning paths. So it's really a one size fits all training benefit that I'm really proud of.
Well, and we're going to kind of talk a little bit about how, that one size fits all then gets very specific for, specific industries and businesses. But first, going back to these customers or users that are really taking advantage of LCS Company Pass, what benefits do they see?
So you know what? I'm in a unique role that I get to hear about people's benefits all day long. They get to tell me what they're using it for. And there's really something for everyone to benefit from, right? We have those great e-learning packages, those great learning paths. We have those live events, the live webinars where you can actually interact and ask questions. And these are built for all different levels of expertise. So every customer that we have something for them. If they want to leverage our new features, we can show them how. I mean, we upgrade twice a year, right? Or if they're just brand new and they need onboarding, we can go there. Or if they're an advanced developer, we can go there. It's just, and you might have to tell me to slow down, Kendall, because I swear I get so excited about this. 28 years of positioning training, and I've never had a better offering than the last 13 years here at Oracle. So thank you for letting us use this platform.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited to share it. It's like you said, there's so many benefits. And with, the suite being what it is, you have to be able to leverage this education to really take advantage of the full suite. Now going back to what you said, it's that kind of one size fits all, but yet every customer is of course unique. So how does LCS support those individual business needs and then their specific NetSuite usage? Like if they've customized the product to meet those unique needs?
Yeah, and that is a great question. Again, it's like you've done this forever, Kendall.
With only a little while.
I know. With most versions of the LCS Company Pass, you receive one of our education advisors. He or she will work with you to understand your unique needs, your unique configuration, your unique environment, your learning goals. They'll help you build tailored learning action plans. Essentially, they're just going to guide you through your whole user enablement strategy. I mean, how great is that?
Pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
And customers also have the ability to engage with their expert during these live events. So when they're doing a live session, which we'll get to that a little bit more. Actually, let's talk about it now. For our users who have things, some of our users have really a higher level of complexity when it comes to setting up their system. There's a lot of customizations or unique processes. We offer what's called tailored event packs, TEPs. And these are instructor-led live training classes that are tailored to address the customer's unique configuration. The training is delivered in their environment. And the best part about it from a trainer's perspective is we get to watch the light bulb come on. We get to watch, it's the best part of all of our jobs is to have people come in like, I'm really struggling here. And then when they get it, it's like, oh my God, how easy was that? So it's the best part of our job is watching that light bulb come on.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, kind of what I gathered there is that you're tailoring these, learning journeys, if you will, to whatever's happening and with the customer and their specific kind of product configuration. And then as they continue to grow and scale and add more, to their NetSuite platform, we're working with them to add the learnings that they need to really leverage it to its full extent.
Exactly.
Love it. Okay. So, we have ACS. ACS is our advanced customer support offering. So for those who might not know about ACS, first, what is it? And then second, how does LCS then differ from ACS?
Okay. So they're very different. But when paired together, I call it the ticket to success or the dream team.
Dynamic duo.
Exactly.
Like you and me.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. K's.
Love it.
The ACS offering is the heavy lifting. It's the customizations. It's implementing new modules. It's building tailored business specific reports. These are what we call deliverables. So those deliverables come from your advanced customer support team. They listen to you. They help build the business that aligns with they help build the software up to align with your business. LCS is about the learning experience. We show them how to use the system to the best of their ability. Make sense?
That definitely makes sense. So what I'm hearing, next question was going to be, should our customers choose one over the other? But you're telling me this is a dynamic duo, but I'll let you answer that question.
You know what? You get it. I mean, I wish you get it, because again, the ACS offering together with LCS offering, we call it the dream team. We call it ticket to success, because on one side, we have the deliverables. We have those heavily customized reports. We have the newly implemented modules. But on the other side, we have the LCS, the Learning Cloud Support experience, that covers all the training, that helps with self-sufficiency. And also, don't forget, we have those tailored event packs. So these 4 sessions are delivered live via an instructor in their environment. So the tailored event packs are sold in packs of 4. Perfect reason to buy one. You want to add a new module. You're onboarding some new users. You want to sharpen your reporting skills. These are just some of the scenarios. I mean, there's so many different scenarios. You can use it for custom documentation or tailored videos. Call me. We'll talk about it.
I love it. Well, why is it, Kerman? Why is it so important for NetSuite users to really continue investing in this type of training and these educational services?
Okay. I get that question a lot. And the thing is people, including myself at one time, think that training should be a one-time event. You learn what you got to do and you're done, right? But there's always more to learn, especially with a system that's so robust as NetSuite. Our skill sets can always be improved upon. I've been here 13 years, and I just did the Suite Analytics Advanced Reports and Searches class because, again, I had some time and I wanted to sharpen my skill set.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to be able to use HTML tags to personalize your income statements? Do you know how to do that? Or can you calculate between fields? Or do you want to free yourself of those consulting fees and be more self-sufficient? Because in most cases, Kendall, seriously, as the business grows, so does the suite. They're adding asset management, they're adding demand planning, and these modules are being added to help with the growing business efficiencies. So as you add these, you master the use of them, and that's where training can come in and help, whether it's LCS Company Pass or the TEPs.
Right.
We have what you need to maintain success and growth. Back to you, Kendall.
Well, and that makes sense. Like it's not even as the business is continuing to grow, as NetSuite continues to evolve. I mean, like you said, twice a year, we have new updates that come to all of our customers. And with those new updates, you're going to need to learn how to do them.
Exactly.
So, there's that. And then there's this other part, which is navigating moments of major change. Maybe it's not your business, maybe it's not NetSuite specific, but it's the world, it's the economy, it's the business climate. And we've seen that so much over the past few years. So how can LCS really help our customers navigate those moments, navigate those moments of change like we've experienced, since 2020, or like you talked about, even as they continue to transform their business, whether that's growth or whether that's, creating more efficiency, whether that's entering new markets or what have you.
Yeah, so you're really provoking some thought here. The question is, how can we help our customers navigate moments of change like we've experienced over the past several years? I'm thinking that's what I heard.
Yes.
So let me think about that for a second. So the LCS Company Pass provides learners with flexible learning options that mirror the ever-changing business challenges that our customers face every day.
Yeah.
I mean, who could have predicted the last couple of years? So not only can LCS adapt to our customers' learning preferences, but the content and resources provided through the Pass support businesses through many different types of change, allowing them to quickly train and redeploy resources, learn about functionality to drive new business processes or discover new ways to effectively transform their business. I mean, so many companies had to completely go and change the way they took everything to market because everything was now done behind a screen, right?
Right.
So we had to get up on there. We had to really help, and it was a challenge. But you know what? Every single customer stepped up to the plate. They navigated. We helped them navigate to go into market differently with their products, and we have so many great success stories. It's just, I'm so proud to work here.
Well, and we're actually gonna talk to one of our customers who utilizes LCS Company Pass and really leverages it. So right after this, it's Scott Welker from FairMob. So he will be on to join us right after you, Kerman. And I, you're so right. I mean, in the past couple of years, if people were selling in retail stores, they were going direct to consumer online. And I mean, the trainings that we offered to teach them how to do that really allowed them to make that change quickly and efficiently without too much headache. So that's a great example. Now to wrap things up here, Kerman, what does the future hold for LCS? How are we ensuring customers are really provided the relevant training to do whatever it is that they face in the coming months and years?
Well, I can tell you what the future holds as of today, but as we've learned, sometimes
we never know.
Really unpredictable. But today, we're continuing to expand our library of e-learning content and adding more live events covering new functional areas, tips and tricks. We just added a How Do I series, which is fantastic, and some more stuff. We're listening. We're really, really listening. That's my job, is to listen to what users want to learn about and help to expand our content to make sure that we're addressing the needs of our users. I mean, what do they need to know about? Where are there gaps that need to be filled? NetSuite's always adding new features. And so we always need to make sure that we have all the learning tools our customers need to take advantage of these new features, right? And then integrate them into their business processes. So we're also leveraging new technology. I can't tell you what it is, but we're leveraging new technology to provide our users with an amazing experience as they navigate our new learning portal. So you can't see me right now, but I'm literally in my office pacing back and forth because, like I told you earlier, when I talk about something that can transform someone's daily life in such a positive way, I get excited. It reminds me almost of that day I graduated college. It's exciting, new beginnings, right? So I love that we get to give that to our customers. Thank you, Kendall.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think, I love being able to speak to you, Kerman, because you are so truly passionate, about what we do here and about your role here. And so it's always nice having someone like you on to really showcase the people that work within NetSuite who care so deeply about what we're doing and care about our customers. So, again, thank you. Don't be thanking me. I thank you for coming on and joining us. And I'm sure there will be more to come in the future. But for now, Kerman, I bid you farewell. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for sharing your amazing gift with us, Kendall. And I hope you have a great day.
How did 6 out of the top 7 best performing tech stocks gain visibility and control over financials, inventory, planning, and budgeting with NetSuite by Oracle? Answers at netsuite.com/code. netsuite.com/code.
Now I'm excited to introduce Scott Welker-Reyes, Vice President of Operations and Administration at FairMob Group. Hi, Scott. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Kendall.
Now, I gave our listeners a brief overview of FairMob in the introduction to this episode, but can you tell us a bit more about the business in your own words?
Sure, absolutely. So FairMob is a French furniture manufacturer. It's actually one of the top luxury manufacturers of outdoor furniture in France and throughout Europe. If you have ever heard of the bistro chair, the little round table and the 2 folding chairs, FairMob actually holds the patent and created that design.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible. We have furniture all over the world. We're distributed in 65 countries. And probably one of our biggest installations is Bryant Park in New York City. We actually have more of our bistro chairs in New York City than they have taxi cabs.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
wild. And do you have more in New York City than France? Because when I think of those bistro chairs and that kind of setup, I immediately think France.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of bistro chairs all over New York
Yeah.
City, especially with the pandemic when people were going to outside dining, people that didn't have outside dining and were using the sidewalk in front of their restaurants and things. It was the quickest way to get them up and running with some folding tables and chairs just for easy storage. So yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy couple of years.
I was gonna say, and we're gonna dive into that a little bit, but before we get into I'm sure you saw quite some growth during the outside. I mean, we're still I live in Santa Monica, right outside of LA, and all of our restaurants have now that outside dining area that they had set up for COVID now is permanent. So everybody has it. So I'm sure you've seen crazy growth, and I've definitely seen those kind of bistro setups there. So we're definitely going to talk about that. But, I want to ask about the actual kind of business model here. What is uniquely challenging about running a business like this, and how does NetSuite help in overcoming those challenges?
Well, I think probably one of the biggest challenges that we have is that we are a design-inspired furniture manufacturer. And so the majority of the items that we sell have actually been designed by some renowned artists throughout the world, and their name is attached to that. However, every piece of furniture, for the most part, that we sell comes in 24 different colors. And so you can imagine the time it takes and the warehouse space it takes in order to manufacture and stock that much inventory in that many colors. And so for us, that's the biggest challenge, is ensuring that we have adequate supply at all times. And of course, over the last few years, that was difficult. Here in the United States, because everything is manufactured in France, we are beholden to what they have ready and what they can ship. Whereas opposed to Europe, where everything's just a few hours away, they can take blanks and paint whatever they want on any day they want. And we don't get that luxury. So it takes a lot of very careful planning, which is where NetSuite comes in with the demand planning and the supply chain control tower, all of those things that before the pandemic, one would have thought they weren't as useful as they are. And now it's just, I can't imagine us operating without them.
Wow. Okay. So then would you say initially implementing NetSuite, was it for, financial management and inventory management?
It was. We actually implemented in 2015.
Okay.
And prior to that, we were on a system called Everest, which is somewhat antiquated at this point. And we knew that in order for us to grow, and grow the way we wanted to grow, we were going to have to do something drastic. And so for us, that was leaving the comfort of Everest and branching off into NetSuite, because we realized early on that it was going to be the technology that was going to get us to where we needed to be.
Well, and that's some great foresight to have, because that's absolutely crucial. And I think that's what, the last couple of years have taught us more than anything, to be able to pivot and transform and change when needed, when the world is changing. Okay, so you started with inventory and financials. How has your use of NetSuite evolved over time? In other words, how are you using NetSuite to run your business now?
Okay. So, interestingly enough, when we went on NetSuite, it was prior to Oracle owning NetSuite. And so it was kind of a different animal back then. And we were so used to dealing with Everest that we wanted everything to be just like Everest.
Right.
And so instead of paying attention during the implementation, we ended up trying to fit NetSuite into Everest's box, which was a mistake from the very beginning. And so for us, it's been a learning curve. In 2018, we went through kind of a mini reinstallation of NetSuite, and actually put business processes into place that we should have done back in 2015. And so now there's probably not much of core NetSuite that we don't use. It's been a godsend, and we've actually implemented some third party on top of it for warehouse management and for transportation. So we're trying to do as much with NetSuite as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, what module or functionality of NetSuite do you think has made the biggest difference for FairMob?
I think the biggest difference has been warehouse management. FairMob is I like to say they're a marketing company that just happens to make furniture. And so when you think about designers and people like that, and no disrespect, but sometimes they're not the most business forward thinking.
Right.
And so for many, many years, they actually kept inventory on a whiteboard in a conference room.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Yes. And so for us, I think what has helped tremendously as we've grown is the ability to deal with our inventory and deal with our warehouse management and deal with orders in and out in a much more streamlined fashion, so that we are able to stay ahead of the curve. I mean, throughout COVID, company-wide, across the world, we are up about 53%. And
Wow.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Well, and so let's go back to that. You mentioned at the beginning, obviously, with a lot of restaurants and bistros and what have you opening up some outdoor seating across the world amid COVID. Tell us a little bit about what you guys saw, how you were impacted, and then on the supply chain side, what happened there to meet that demand, and how I know this is a lot, but like how you use NetSuite to kind of navigate all of that.
Sure. So we actually sell to a variety of verticals, which is not normal. So we actually sell direct to the consumer off of our website. We have online retailers like the Williams-Sonomas of the world that sell our product. There's boutique retail stores, brick and mortar throughout the US and throughout the world that sell the product. And then we also sell into the contract market. So hotels, restaurants, parks, public spaces, universities.
Yeah.
So the need is very different across that board. And so the one thing that happened at the beginning of COVID was our consumer sales went out the window. We went from sending maybe 80 to 100 small packages a week to 3,000 packages a week.
Whew.
It was craziness. Our contract business really died off at first and then came back gangbusters because all of these companies decided, hey, we don't have people in the office. Now's a really good time to remodel or retrofit or change. And so, what happened was the supply chain started to dry up. And without NetSuite, without being able to utilize the demand planning features, without being able to utilize, our inbound shipments, I'm not sure that we would have actually been able to survive. We went to a methodology where we kept a live stock list on our website that was live 24/7. So if you bought something, that stock number would drop by 1.
Wow.
And also left on our website anything that was coming inbound that was not sold in advance. And we couldn't keep inventory in the house. It was incredible. And it was NetSuite that made us able to do that. Without that functionality in the warehouse management system and with the inbound shipment system, the available to promise functionality, we couldn't have kept up. There was absolutely no way. We were too busy stealing from Peter to pay Paul with inventory, knowing, that heck, what could happen, and then throw on top of that container shortages, raw material shortages, all of this stuff. And it's just one thing piled on another thing. And NetSuite, with the product that we have, with the way we are now using it, is the one thing that saved us.
Wow. What a great story. I appreciate you sharing that. And that's, we love to hear that. And I want to bring it full circle back to the topic at hand here, which is education. So how has education played a role in your NetSuite journey, from 2015 to kind of that, like you said, that re-implementation and really getting the core, NetSuite functionalities to run your business. And then even with COVID, how has education helped you, keep up and learn more and add more functionality seamlessly?
Okay. So for me, it's one of those things where I like to know things just for the sake of knowing things. And here in our company, the one thing that we found out is that it doesn't do us any good not to know what we can do, because we end up making band-aids that really hurt a lot when you go to pull them off and do it the right way.
Yeah.
And so, over the course of the last few years, well, actually a few years before COVID, let's say, really changing the methodologies and trying to leverage our SuiteCommerce website so that we can use the marketing automation, the trade shows that we do. We've actually created some virtual trade shows that go through our SuiteCommerce website.
Mm-hmm.
And we end up with the ability, because of LCS, because being able to go in and take those classes and be able to hands-on work on projects at the same time is invaluable, because as much as you have a sandbox, if you decided to purchase one, no one has the time, especially now, to play and guess and play and guess. You really have to be diligent, and you have to be deliberate in the decisions that you make and how it's all going to work. And bringing people together around the table and being able to legitimately say to the people, I like your idea, but it's not going to work because, and it's LCS that gives you the ability to say the because.
Wow. I've actually never heard that I love these podcasts because I start to learn more. And so that's super interesting. So was it that SuiteCommerce was SuiteCommerce the reason that you initially started utilizing LCS, or what kind of kickstarted that?
Well, I think like all companies, we think we know better than we do.
Yeah.
And so way back when we started in 2015, as I mentioned earlier, our furniture comes in 24 different colors. So matrix items are the thing that drives our business.
Right.
And originally we were on the SuiteCommerce Advanced website. And we had ended up paying someone to customize it so much that we got stuck. And we got stuck on an early release of SuiteCommerce Advanced on the Mont Blanc version, because you were able to play with the code at that point. And we ended up putting ourselves in a corner, not being able to do updates any longer, not being able to take advantage of the functionality that's in NetSuite, not being able to do anything with the new functions and the new improved ways that the modules work. And so in 2019, we made the decision to go ahead and make the switch to SuiteCommerce. And that way, we were hoping that we would pull ourselves out of the mess we had created for ourselves and be able to leverage the LCS in order to have someone on staff actually manage the website, so that we weren't continually going out and creating jobs for consultants.
Right. Makes sense. And what a time to do that, Scott. 2019, yes. Pretty good timing on your guys' end. Okay. So that kickstarted, and then how have you continued using LCS?
So the one thing that LCS does for us is, because we sell to so many different verticals, and we do a bunch of trade shows throughout the year, and we deal with the professional aspect and the consumer aspect. So we have architects and designers and engineers. And so we've actually used LCS in a way that we can get the knowledge where we can leverage SuiteCommerce, the customer center, and saved searches in order to develop an actual professionals portal on our SuiteCommerce site that's gated, so that architects and engineers and designers can log into the gated content and get all of the schematics that they need, all the drawings, all the Revit files, all of that, but at the same time, leaving the website consumer friendly for the customer that's sitting at home wanting to order something. And that's one thing that we wouldn't have been able to do without LCS, because LCS allows you to look at all of the different modules that you have and how do they play well together and how do they not play well together. But it also, for people that like puzzles, will give you an opportunity to figure out, all right, how can I make this happen without breaking something else?
Or like you said, maybe this isn't the right move. Which I think is really, because we do hear from other customers we've talked to who utilize LCS. We're using it to let us know what we can do and how we can really leverage the full capabilities of NetSuite. But then there's also the things that's like, hey, great idea, but this won't work, and here's why. It's either going to break something that's already working, or it doesn't fit with whatever customization or whatever it might be. And I think that's super interesting. But like you said, but also how can we make it happen, which we always want to hear.
Absolutely.
So when you think about education, how does our offering stand out from competitors in your perspective?
Well, the one thing that the LCS package does that nobody else at all does is it allows you to operate and gain this knowledge on your own time. You're not beholden to, okay, this is going to go off at 2:00 every Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time, and you have to be there. You know, life happens too much these days for someone to be able to schedule those blocks of times and be consistent at it and be in the mind space to actually pay attention and learn something. So the ability to do this on your own time, at your own speed, in your own place, wherever you want to do it, is one of the most beneficial things that you can give to someone.
Yeah.
I could go 2 weeks without having an opportunity to sit down and look at anything.
Right.
And if it was a live class, it'd already be over.
Right.
So for me, I think that is probably the number one selling point of it. But it also allows you, hey, I'm in the middle of this module, and this module is talking about X, Y, and Z. I can stop that module and I can go over to a different class that talks about the module that this one's going to interface with, so that I can get a better understanding right then and there about how it's going to work.
Yeah, that's great. And I love that you said, I mean, it's just life is, there's too much of life happening, and also happening too fast. That level of flexibility and every, for when it comes to education and learning, you don't want to be, multitasking and doing that at the same time. I completely understand that. And with all of us working, a lot of us working from home or working, doing both, going in the office a few days, coming home for a few days, it is really hard to manage that time and make sure that you're actually gaining the benefit of what you're learning and what you're listening or watching.
Yeah. To NetSuite's credit, and I don't know if many people have noticed it, but it didn't go unnoticed for me, is that in your most recent release and the release just prior to that, NetSuite spent a tremendous amount of time and energy ginning up the supply chain portion of NetSuite.
Yeah.
And it could not have come at a better time.
Yeah. And that great segue, because that was going to be my next question. We talked a bit about how you were impacted, how sales were impacted, and your need to meet demand and having full visibility into the supply chain in order to be able to do that, offering that real kind of inventory count. So did LCS help you during any of those periods of time? I mean, when we did do updates around supply chain management, were you utilizing LCS to learn more and dive deeper into that?
Yes, we were. And I think that probably the area that helped us the most was around available to promise and the different ways in which you can do that, and the demand planning, because nothing was normal. Right. So, this week you might be thinking, I'm going to go back this far and go forward this far, and I'm going to utilize, sales orders and estimates and all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, the last 3 years, I don't think anybody can look at their business and go, wow, I can compare this to that and actually get any intelligence out of it. And so, allowing NetSuite to do what it does with the algorithms that it has and the way that it parses the data is really the closest thing that we could get to having a crystal ball.
Yeah. That's great. We we joke a lot about having a crystal ball, and it's always funny. Our founder's like, no, this isn't a crystal ball. This is accurate. This is data. This is science. But as the non-founders of NetSuite,
Sure.
we like to make that comparison. So I asked our LCS expert this same question, but I'd love to get your perspective.
Okay.
Why is it so important for NetSuite users and customers to continue investing in training and educational services? Like, what would you tell a fellow, NetSuite user, maybe not from your company, but from elsewhere?
Well, I think like anything else, it changes. And your needs change. And until you can recognize where you can be more efficient or where you can provide a better experience for your customer, you really have to stay on top of the technology. Because at the end of the day, you're only as good as the product you deliver. And for us, if we don't stay educated on the product that we have, and allow NetSuite to do what it does to the fullest extent it can do it, then we're sunk. And it takes that the LCS, the continuing education, the being involved, because NetSuite is a living, breathing thing as far as I'm concerned. It just touches every aspect of your world at work, and being able to augment that and being able to grow it into the teenager and grow it into the adult, and all of those things that you want to see happen as you move forward, streamlining your business, creating better business processes, and really finding a way to leverage the assets you have to do more with less. That's why you need the education, because without it, you're just going to stay where you were.
Yeah, you'll stay stagnant. Wow. I mean, I don't think I could end on a better note than that, Scott. That is great. I love to hear. I love that you call it a living, breathing thing, because also, like you said, it evolves.
Yes, it does.
And it grows. It's not just this one thing that has stayed the same for the past 20 plus years that we've been around. NetSuite's constantly changing. We're constantly upgrading and evolving to meet the ever-changing needs of businesses, and as we've seen in the past couple of years. So I love that metaphor. I appreciate it. And on that note, Scott, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure, Kendall. Thanks for having me.
I know I said it to Scott, but I've just got to say it here again. I love what he said about NetSuite being a living, breathing thing that evolves and grows with your company as your company evolves and grows. And that is why continuous training and education is just so important. So thank you so much to Scott Welker-Reyes and of course, Kerman Camacho for joining us. I've left a few links in the description of this episode if you want to learn more about LCS Company Pass. I also want to shout out to our editing crew over at Lampstand for making this episode possible, and of course, all of you for tuning in. If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Until next time, bye.
You just listened to the NetSuite podcast. Be sure to tune in every week with more NetSuite developments, stories, and insights into the benefits of one integrated system to help you run your business.